And welcome back. Just in time, LunatiK eSports versus Team eLevate. First matchup of the night on the first map of DE Mirage. I love this map. It is the pistol round already underway. It's going to be eLevate on T side, working the bomb, and most of the team up mid. You got a pretty standard stack going on with aggressive CTs pushing out a B. They stacked the B bomb site, pushing up towards Cat. If they catch this bomb in mid, they're going to be in a world of hurt. Professor Chaos working his way up through connector. Could have been shot in the back. Did not happen. Bomb still in mid. Professor Chaos works his way around the corner, clearing out window. Lots of shots exchanged real fast. That's Drossel and Tivu for LunatiK. Dropping the bomb, and now you've got two T's all alone, working their way forward from market. Professor Chaos, second man to find Drossel. Headshot, USP both times around, and LunatiK eSports is going to go up 1-0 at the end of the pistol round, establishing that much-needed economic momentum. Nice play. Go for it, Dust.
Well done by LunatiK. I mean, 3 kills there from Drossel, 2 from Tivu, just completely shutting down eLevate, who really didn't make any headway in that round. They had a couple of kills, but really didn't seem like they had a chance here, and now they're just going to have to save up. They do have the upgraded pistols and armor. Looks like they just want to try to flood upper B here, but it is Dumore who is jump peeking this, so he's going to have a pretty good idea. He's going to see these smokes and stuff flying over as well here pretty soon, and that's going to alert him to what's going on here rather quickly. We'll get up close, and this could be interesting.
Well, here comes the push. Smokes out, trying to stop the T's from moving in. Counter flashes as well. They're going to jump out window 1, 2, 3 out, and then coming through smoke is going to be Storm and somebody getting shot in the back. Look at the patience. Dumore waits on it. Drops 1, drops 2. Bomb is down. Bomb in CT LunatiK control. Last man standing. Professor Chaos stuck in a bad position by Arch and shot.
Yeah, I mean, with the smoke coming out, you just kind of want to avoid that van player to try to jump out the window and see if you can't trade out the guy Cat. But problem is they never really paid any mind to Van. And that's such a powerful position, or such a common one at least, that you should definitely be, putting some emphasis on. And they didn't really put any. So Doom were able to sneak in a couple of frags, and that's that. No chance to get a bomb plant or anything at that point. So once again, eLevate just forced to save here, as they will just try to come out of mid, all 5 of their players, and no one's really spotting it yet until Invert just steps out. Drake pushing the Cat, but he gets caught, and we'll see if eLevate off the back of that can find something here.
Big play, the boost. Invert comes around the corner, unloads with an SMG, gets overextended, ends up getting hit on 2 angles. I don't think he expected that many guns on him, though. He's dead now. Advantage slightly shifting towards eLevate. It's 4 versus 3. LunatiK still on a buy round, and eLevate, nothing. I mean, they got a couple of pistols, no armor. They will be in trouble whenever they push the site, and it's looking like it's going to be B. Only Dumore standing by, watching from Van with that silenced Hyper Beast. M4 silence. Look at the positioning. He moves forward. Hears them. No, he doesn't. Doesn't know what's going on. Drops a flashbang. Gets confused. Shut down. That's entry.
Yeah, that's really big there that Dumore got caught. He definitely could have been like the driving force behind this defense to shut down that upper B push, but he gets caught. The bomb is going to go down because of it. Drossel comes around to FAMAS, though, and clears it back out to make it a 2v2. So at least LunatiK are starting to reel back here, but can they close out these last 2 frags? It's going to be up to Drossel.
Drossel, clutch time. 1v2 is able to take down Professor Chaos at Arch. The bomb is slightly planted for apartments. This really does favor the T's. Storm hanging out. Drossel knows process of elimination. Someone's got to be there, and look at this. How frustrating. He had it. It was a buy round, and Drossel has to run away, narrowly surviving the blast zone. And that's a point on the board for eLevate.
That's rough for LunatiK, too, because, I mean, yeah, that second round hurdle can be a bit difficult because at least, the team that you're playing against is investing, into armor, upgraded pistols, nades, different things like that. But that round wasn't much invested into it by eLevate. I mean, they had some P250s and such, but for the most part, wasn't really heavy. And I think Dumore getting caught was the biggest point there. Just unfortunate timing. I mean, that's a cool pop flash he's trying to throw. It can be very, very effective. You see Pronax use that all the time for Fnatic, and it's just a really powerful way to peek the upper B, but just in that timing, that situation, he just got caught out. And now LunatiK, put together what type of buy they can, but definitely lacking on a few of their players. Meanwhile, eLevate, great position, AKs across the board, full armor, but look at this push from Drake upper B. Might be able to catch someone off guard.
Very aggressive. He's going to put himself in a pretty bad situation unless he peeks right now. Professor Chaos doesn't know he's there, sees somebody, unloads, CZ75, break, gets the kill, backs off. Storm is in spawn.
Aww.
Storm was looking the wrong way initially, but he's still able to get that kill on Drake.
That's the thing. If you have the CZ, you cannot afford to pull your knife out. It takes so long to pull that CZ back out, and that's really what actually got him. He actually probably could have killed Storm there if he wouldn't have done that. LunatiK still putting up a decent fight, though, but it does come down to a 2 versus 2 here as eLevate tries to go into B.
That's Dumore taking the bomb carrier down. Now Storm up top. I'm not sure if Dumore knows. Now he knows somebody's there, sees, and he's shot at by Storm. Storm's going to drop a grenade. Frag grenade does no damage. Dumore 56 health. Shut down, but return fire. Dumore did his job. Delayed long enough for CEVO to show up on site and finish the job.
Right on. So now we have both teams in a rather interesting situation economically. Yeah, LunatiK won that round, so because they're able to buy, but their money's quite low after the buy. So really both teams are in situations where they need to string it together a couple of rounds in a row to get their economy back in order. So like I said, very, very fragile positions here for both teams, as we are going to see eLevate here once again on a save as they're looking to do some type of attack on mid. And I noticed eLevate is one of those teams that do favor mid control over heavy side executes. You know, teams like Keat Stars, the polar opposite, love those heavy A hits. And I'm sure eLevate will mix those in at some point, because hitting the A-bomb site with just some set executes can be very powerful. But they are a team that loves to exercise mid control when and where they can. And so far this game, you've seen a lot of that from them.
Yeah, different philosophies. You see Invert hanging out. I think that was from Window, picking off a player XP from as he crosses on Cat. More importantly, that's information. People are moving towards Cat. Dumore doing work, taking down Roke in apartments, and there's no need to rotate. Look, bomb is already down, and they know somebody's in a site. That Storm shot by CEVO. All too easy for LunatiK.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a great job here on the CT side. I mean, of course, this map does have a slight CT bias. I mean, it's not crazy CT side. I've seen a lot of teams be able to put up, as long as they're a good Mirage team, a decent number on the T side. And I know eLevate is capable of that. I mean, I've seen them beat some really good teams on this map. They beat Cloud9, for example, in the SEA League on Mirage, and kind of an upset just because they know how to play this map. But so far tonight, having a tough time. Of course, they are using a stand-in. The aggression from LunatiK at mid coming in, though, and it pays off really well.
Yeah, I think they realized eLevate likes to play mid pretty aggressively. They peek out there, but look, nobody thinks to check. Behind in underpass, XB3 comes up and gets, looks like that was a 2K. And now they can enter any site. We got one player at B, and then number 2, Draw Souls, rotating over towards B. Roka picking him off. That's Dumore getting picked off from apartments, leaves Draw Soul all alone for the retake. Can he do it? Nope. Crosshair, wrong place, buddy.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Roka. It's kind of weird. He's like such a crazy, weird hybrid between being like a lurker and being an aggressive rifler. You do see him many times playing these solo positions, like Upper B Mirage you just saw there, like Long A Dust 2, like Cash Door. He plays a lot of these solo positions, but he does so in such an aggressive manner. Whereas maybe you're used to seeing other players who play solo positions really kind of just lurk it out and play slow. He's very fast-paced in his little solo play positions, and that round he just kind of pushes that upper B by himself and just wins the round off of it right there at the very end. Of course, XP3 had a big part in that too, catching that mid aggression from behind underpass. That was certainly a big factor as well. But now we have LunatiK on a save, and so this is going to help eLevate out a lot as they're trying to, you know, come back on this map after LunatiK had quite a fierce start.
Well, so far B-side's been the most successful for Team eLevate, but now they're working on the old split into A. Professor Chaos hanging out in connector. Slow play. XP3 is going to work his way up. Somebody, Draw Soul, waiting on him with a pistol on this save round. This is one thing I really like about the save rounds on CT. You get in kind of the weird close positions, try to get that one kill, pick up a gun, and make a difference. The first shot, Draw Soul is going to aggress, take down XP3 with the P250. That's huge. Very passive play by the CTs. CEVO's hanging out in the back. Invert also. Professor Chaos, though, returning fire. Sandwich, got to check that corner. Invert doing work. Professor Chaos finally takes the position, and now bomb has been dropped. A site.
Yeah, this is a this is not a great round for eLevate by any means.
No.
I mean, even if they win this, it's been very costly a round that they should have just walked away with, but they don't. They fall prey to the eco of LunatiK, and that is a rough round to lose if you're eLevate, man. Can't lose those.
Score 5-2 right now. eLevate struggling against an ecoing LunatiK eSports. Keep in mind, eLevate is all that stands in between Team Liquid and the finals after the game with Method tonight. So this is sort of a sneak peek on what eLevate can do. So far, not so good on T side Mirage. It's going to be an eco for Team eLevate, working their way for mid-control.
Let's be fair here. Method is still like a blade of grass in the way of the lawnmower that is liquid as well to make it to land, whereas eLevate serves as like a soft pebble. Like your lawnmower blade's still going to rip through that. It does maybe dink up the sharpness of the blade a bit, but it's going to make the pass over. So let's be fair to Method. They'd also stand in Liquid's way tonight as well, but a little bit easier to cut through, I guess.
I don't
know how the I just made a lawnmower reference in Counter-Strike, but I hope it illustrated the picture.
Well, Professor Chaos is mowing the lawn that is invert with an M4, shuts him down in market. B side, this is a bad situation. Well, not so bad. B is completely in control by eLevate. They force the rotate, and now bomb makes its way into the A site. CEVO doesn't really know what's going on. He's watching an arch, trading shots with Professor Chaos. Bomb's been planted, and he still doesn't really have the information. Now I think he figured it out. He's over there in connector, working his way up. Bad situation. He knows he's got somebody flanking behind him, and he's got to check all corners. XB3 at ramp, watching CEVO, checking every single corner. Running out of time. He's got a defuse kit, but you know, you can't take all day, even in that situation, especially with the short bomb timer in real league competitive play. He's going to back off safe. Good choice.
Yeah, he's going to get caught in the back to Professor Chaos, so he can't even get away with the M4, unfortunately. And so eLevate, after, yeah, kind of one of those slow progressing aces. Don't even really notice it up until you actually just look at the counter. But it is an ace nonetheless, and that's actually big. eLevate, after losing an eco round there in round number 8, or round number 7, excuse me, that was a huge blow, I felt. But to recover and come back and win a round right there, definitely big. Forces LunatiK to save yet again. And LunatiK, their economy just being reset. I mean, in fact, everyone's money's been reset. No one can really seem to win more than 2 rounds at the same time, and in many of the case, it's just been 1 round at a time. So with it being so back and forth, both teams' economies are just really strained. eLevate has a bit of an upper hand, Professor Chaos and Storm, with a good amount of money even after the bye. But for LunatiK, it's been tough. CEVO trying to slip in there, gets caught by Storm, kind of funny. And now we have a 4v5.
Very frustrating. You sneak up like that, get shot in the back. Drake's also going to get shut down. And Roka taking draw soul real fast. Epic work. Dumore's the only man left alive. He's holding the B site, which is where the T's are going. Professor Chaos again walks in, finds the headshot. Look at the score on Professor Chaos here. 13-0-7 after scoring that ace. He is the new member straight out of Team Nylum for Team eLevate. And it's working quite nicely for him tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Professor Chaos has always been a good player in my eyes. In fact, I was surprised he was the one that was let go from Nylum to make room for Hiko. I thought that was like a weird role type of strain to release your opper to bring in a lurker.
Let's get rid of one of our best for somebody who's good, who plays a different position.
Yeah, basically. What? And it was even funnier because Hiko didn't want to join CLG because it was going to be an issue where he was coming in for an opper because they got rid of Peter. Well, the exact same thing happened when he joined Nylum. He came in for an opper, and it was just really weird.
Yeah.
And I always thought Professor Chaos kind of deserved to stay on that team. Maybe someone else needed to move if they wanted to bring Hiko in. But either way, he's a pretty versatile guy, and he's been able to find a good home here in eLevate so far, although the team has struggled. But on this eco, they're able just to rip through the A-bomb site. Looks like it's about to be a tied game.
Yeah, the fog rolled in with the smoke grenades, and just a standard textbook take on A site, leaving Dumore all alone in connector. You see the pre-fire. He knows somebody expects him to be there. Dumore with a banana pistol. That's going to make a difference. Hanging tight, watching. He just wants to get some sort of a... oh, no. Wants to get some sort of an exit kill. Professor Chaos spraying through that wall. Wall bangs him. Hurts him, and then he peeks out. and gets taken down with a headshot. Tech9 long distance. Good stuff. 5-5. We have ourselves a tied game again.
Yeah, definitely a time game coming up here. And so eLevate have done well to recover even after, like I said, dropping that eco round and having a tough start where LunatiK went up, 4-1. At one point they were up 5-2 as well. So they've really been able to win these last 3 rounds in a row and put this back to a respectable game where I think eLevate was a pretty decent favorite here. I mean, I didn't think it was crazy. If I were to put the odds, I'd say like maybe 60-40 eLevate, maybe 65-35 eLevate, but they are definitely bringing it back here on the T side of Mirage. And once again, looking for this upper B mid-tight play, straying away from A, except for on anti-ecos, which is, like I said, very, very much different than a lot of NA teams that really do favor the heavy A hits.
Well, it looks like the decision has been made. Go ahead and leave the B site, going underpass and flooding in. Looks like Roka's going to be on point. Working the connector. Inverts on off. Watches the angle, gets the first kill. There goes Akis, the stand-in player for Team eLevate. Dead that quickly. We're in a 3 versus 4 with a rotate underway. You need to get out of connector or else you're going to get pinched off. Professor Chaos takes stairs. The bomb's already working its way in. A site was secure. They were too slow, though. Invert with the off. CT scoped in. Gives his position away. Can he do it?
Nade comes in, takes another 23 HP, still has a 1v2. This is still winnable, especially if XP3 peaks, but he doesn't. He actually just drops back. And so this is going to be a bit difficult here. But Roka is low HP, but that's kind of negligible since he has an op.
Gonna go ahead and back off. Not sure if he's saving yet or not. Throws a smoke grenade, doesn't push it. And out he goes. Wise decision. He's working with the off. One of the hardest things to go ahead and retake a site. You can enter the site just fine, but when you have to check every little nook and cranny, sometimes that long-range scope weapon isn't going to work for you, especially against 2-to-1 odds.
Yeah, especially since you can't actually do anything with a health advantage. I mean, your op is still a one-hit kill no matter what, so you can't punish low HP players like you can with the rifle, with spam and things of that nature. I mean, I guess you could pull out your pistol, but then you're retaking with the pistol against 2 rifles, you see what I mean? So it's just not a very good retake weapon. You really have to rely on your other teammates with the rifles to be able to help open things up, and you just kind of sit back with the op and see if you can't catch someone moving around, swapping positions or something, or getting flushed out. Otherwise, you just need to pick up an actual rifle and try your best there. But LunatiK switching things up, going aggressive at mid again. Last time they did this, it worked out. In this round so far, it is as well. So Professor Chaos, once again, that underpass catches them, though.
Yeah, Professor Chaos worth his weight in gold. Getting the 2K before finally going down. That's gonna help open up the map a good deal. Drawsoul now alone with Drake. Drawsoul's 5 health. Roka pre-firing. You know somebody's in window. He's gonna go ahead and throw the smoke grenade. Smokes off connector. It's kind of a bad smoke. He could have been shot in the back pretty easily by that, but works his way around the corner, trying to enter the B bomb site. Problem is they were spotted, and you see how fast this rotation's coming in. Drake from Arch. Cat's side. Wow, should not have won that fight. He's able to take XP3 down, and Roka, with the help of Dumor, already damaging him up so well. That was eLevate's round, Dust.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, but eLevate's done well enough here. I mean, they have 6 rounds already, so I think they're feeling pretty comfortable. If they can find, one more round, it'll be really great. Even with 6, that's still, manageable. You can still come up with double digits on the CT side. Like I said, there is a slight CT bias on the Smash. So I think they're okay, but they definitely have dropped the ball a few rounds where I really thought they should have had a much cleaner victory. That round, for example, that round number 7 when it was an eco and they lost against LunatiK, that was another big fumble. So yeah, definitely a couple of mistakes here on some rounds from eLevate, but like I said, I think they still have a decent amount of rounds under their belt from the T side.
Well, you see Roka playing around at the B site. Such a good entry fragger. If he's going to sell this rotate or break into the site, which looks to be the game plan, he would be the one to do it. He's going to play around. Meanwhile, Bomb goes towards Arch, gets dropped along with Roka, leaving XP3 all alone. That's going to be your lurk player killed in window, trying to come up behind from Market. Storm is all alone. 5v1. Ain't gonna happen.
See if he can get some kills, though. He does find 2 already, so he's in a 1v3, so he's definitely playing this pretty well, but gets caught by Drake peeking out the window there, and so it will be LunatiK taking the lead back. 7-6 is the score. Very close game, though, very back and forth, and that definitely favors eLevate, given the map and given they're on T side first. So I think if you're an eLevate fan, or if you're eLevate, you're probably still feeling pretty comfortable here.
Oh, it's fantastic. Like we say, Mirage often CT-sided and eLevate. They've got plenty of cash. Their economy really hasn't lagged behind at all. It's just been back and forth so much. A couple of wins here, a couple of wins there. Looks like a standard A take for eLevate. You're gonna watch
like the 5 smoke setup here. The Keyed Stars 5 smoke hit coming in.
Classic. This is how it's done. Textbook. Here comes the fog. CEVO, blind, and stuck in smoke. Frustrating. Trying to peek around the corner, see something. Invert's got eyes. And not anymore. Roka peeks the corner while he scoped in. He didn't even see it coming. Professor Chaos streaks in. Teammates doing the work, and the site has been taken. All exits smoked off. Quick and easy bomb plant. That's about as good as you can hope for on that smoky A site take.
Yep. Yeah, it is just a textbook 5 smoke hit there on the A bomb site, but it does come down to a 2v2, and LunatiK does have an opportunity here to go for the retake, but Professor Chaos cutting it off so far, and now it's just going to be off to Dumore. This is going to be rather difficult, but he's going to go for it.
Dumore. He's solid at entry fragging. He's got a high 57% headshot percentage. If anybody can do it, it's him. There you go.
Oh, and the Molotov didn't bounce right. That's rather unfortunate. Like, if that Molotov would have actually landed, Dumore still loses the round, probably.
Yeah.
It just was an unfortunate bounce off the box. And
especially at 32.
Yeah, I think I mean, everyone's going to be watching that round and be thinking, oh, Dumore just hit, 2 crazy shots in a 1v2 to win the round, which is true, but it was so close to him still losing that if that Molotov that he threw there actually hits the spot. So, yeah, it's crazy how close that came.
It really did, yeah. He was already down to 32 health. Just a second or two in the fire, and he would have been dead. Just like that. 8-6 to the score. First map, Mirage, LunatiK eSports versus eLevate. Looks like a gamble for mid-control, as per usual for Team eLevate. XP3 on point, leading the charge. Chooses to push smoke. Drake was watching, turns around, gets picked off by Roka. Single-handedly taking the site from Palace. Good stuff. Bomb's going to go down, and it's up to Professor Chaos on the lurk. Here's Dumore coming around the corner. Shots. Good night. Dumore, headshot. And it's up to Invert all alone. He has to go for it last round.
Yeah, I mean, I think eLevate clinched the 7th round here. So, like I said, I think they have to feel pretty good with their T side. I think if it would have been, if it hadn't been for a few mistakes, they really could have probably had 8 themselves instead of just 7, maybe even 9. Even that one round just now, where Dumore won that 1v2, was quite close. So really, yeah, I think short of some mistakes, they really could have had 9 or 10 rounds instead of just 7, but still 7 quite good for this map. So I think as long as they can put together a respectable CT side, they should still have a pretty good chance to win this one. But it will also count on the pistol. If LunatiK can get up 11-7 by winning the pistol and the 2 anti-ecos, and just have a few decent gun rounds of their own, they still definitely have a chance to put it away as well. So pretty close game here. Could really go either way, but I think you got to favor eLevate a little bit here.
Yeah, it's hyper close. eLevate, they've got to be happy with a 7-8 score on T side. Mirage, now we're switching sides. Pistol round underway. The question is, who is going to be large and in charge? Man to watch for eLevate is going to be XP3 on the defensive pistol. If they push his site, these guys are in trouble. He leads his team with 201 pistol kills total. He's an expert, probably because he ops so darn much. You rely on that pistol as a sidearm. No surprise, we're going to see a big old B rush. That seems to be textbook standard for the pistol round T side. Invert slowing down, working his way forward. You don't want to give your position out just yet.
Yeah, upper B hits are just good because when you have Glocks, like, it minimizes like the range disadvantage you'd have against like a USP or a P2K as much as possible. So that's why you see a lot of teams go for it. But oh my goodness, Storm shutting it down.
The jumping pistol shot gets the 2K. They know exactly what's going on. You see this rotate. Nice lurking for CEVO, though, up at the top. He's able to get a couple of kills, but teammate Drake is now going to be left all alone. Gets 1 kill from Apartments comes around the corner, grabs the bomb. That's a minor victory. Can he find another kill? Yep, there goes Akis, sneaks around, and now knows Roka is in market. There he is, peeking, juke in the corner. 11 health, solo. Can he do it? He does have armor. No, he doesn't. He has a decoy. Drops the decoy. Not going to fool Roka. He was able to actually see it. Peek around the corner. This is so close. They're whiffing every single shot. Finally, Roka with the USP. Body shot. Shakes his head. Ain't going to happen. There's a defuse.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty close round, but as you said, it was Roka who comes up with it, so he will get to defuse, and it will be eLevate, tying the game up here at 8-all, and a good chance to, just get it out to 10-8 if they can avoid the eco push. LunatiK did get the first round bomb plant, so they can either elect to still go for a pretty heavy Tech 9 armor buy with nades and just try to, win the round outright, or you can see the more conservative approach where they buy very little and then just go for, the AK buyout in the third round. And it seems like they've taken the more conservative approach. Like I said, I haven't seen teams a lot recently like Liquid, Nylum, to name a couple of NA teams, Envious for Europe, that seem to still go for the heavy second round buy, even with the first round bomb plant loss. So it is, like I said, just LunatiK thinking more economically.
Even though the action is not happening here, I like what Roka did. He bought a P90 and charges forward. No need, though. Storm sees the rush into the B site. eLevate in control. Look at this. Akis taking Drake down. Bomb has been spotted. Bomb has been dropped. CEVO on lurk in upper mid, stuck in in just a bad position. Professor Chaos peeks the corner. He has that altitude advantage. The head is so much bigger and easier to hit from there, and he finds the headshot.
Yep, so eLevate holding off that anti-eco, and here it is, LunatiK buying up the AKs, and it is obviously eLevate, knowing these AKs are coming, are going to go ahead and start upgrading what they can here to rifles. You see 3 M4s, 2 FAMASs, so definitely understanding what's coming here. As LunatiK is setting up for some type of A hit, they are going to have Do More on a lurk underpass. Maybe they come connector late in the round, but it's just definitely an orchestrated A split coming up here from LunatiK. Akis does push out the cat, so we'll see if he's able to cut off Do More or not. And this A hit is going to be coming in. And look at this, Roka and Professor Cat is playing so aggressive on the A ramp for this.
It's going to cost them. Both of them put themselves out. Getting shot. Last man on the A site is number 8, XP3 with a FAMAS. He was pretty far back, pushes up forward. That's kind of what you have to do, but he's going to get picked off by Invert. Invert with a nice 2K, taking Akis down. We're in a 1v1 here. Look, Drossel versus Storm, and the bomb is going to go right now. Storm leading his team in 1v2s. Let's see how he does in the 1v1. Drossel peek in the corner, looks the wrong way. Good night.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate timing there. I mean, he has to worry about CT and jungle. Just happens to quick check CT the moment Storm peeks from jungle. And that round still was quite close. I mean, luckily, eLevate, we're set up for some quick rotations because Akis had pushed Cat, so he could easily get the connector and get to A pretty quickly, because I think it was a bit of a mistake for Roka and Professor Chaos to play so up close in A ramp like that. Play spots that LunatiK are forced to check as they execute the site while your team's rotating, rather than just standing out in the open and being kind of easy targets. And it was LunatiK who actually got the favorable trade on the initial execute because of that. And like I said, it really came down to those fast rotates that saved eLevate there. But they do secure the round. They are now up 10-8, and LunatiK forced to save, of course, here. So just Tech 9s, and eLevate have a good chance to keep us in their lead.
Well, here comes LunatiK. Tech 9 Russian. The question is, where do they want to go? And a connector goes Drossel. Professor Chaos Roka just returning fire, shutting him down so fast. That should have been a kill.
He was full blind, too, and he still got the frag. That's what's so unfortunate. They were just rushing him with Tech 9, so he was like blind behind his smoke, yet Roka's still able to spray when he heard the noise and got the kill. So rather unfortunate there for LunatiK. But they're going to be able to get a full buy here. They're going to have AKs, all the smokes and Molotovs and things like that. Curious to see what they're going to do. That Molotov can be used to flush players out from underneath balcony. It can also be used to clear van if you're trying to press upper B. So I'm not sure. It looks like they're heading towards upper B, so I assume that's what the intended use of the Molotov is going to be. Or you can use it to clear a window as well from underpass. So we'll see where they might want to direct the team. Looks like they want to take mid.
Yeah, heavy mid presence. You see Do More working his way down through underpass. Chucks a grenade, trying to clear out the window. Sniper window walks up, and mid control now belongs to LunatiK, but AKS peeks around the corner, gets one, but is a 1-for-1. Invert's going to peek around and return fire. That's a pick on B side. They could seize the day and charge into B, but instead they're going to try and get a couple more picks on A site, maybe lure these guys into rotating, and now the bomb backs off. I think the call's made. Bring it to A. Let's set up for some sort of a mid to A take. Nope. It was a fake. Bomb back towards B. Down cat. Roka just being annoying in connector.
Yeah, I just want to point out that it's an absolute total waste of your time and money to try to throw a smoke grenade as a terrorist inside the connector. Unless you throw it absolutely perfect, people are just going to look over that smoke every single time. You might as well just not even smoke it. Just take the engagement because it's just a waste of your money. And you could see it there. eLevate easily able to see over that smoke and got the kill. And it's because of that they have a 3-on-3 now. LunatiK still trying to force the issue at A. Trades are equal so far. We got ourselves a 2-on-2 to close the round.
That's a big kill with Professor Chaos down. That is the best player on the team. XP3 though comes out, takes CEVO down. Storm working in tandem. There goes Drake. Compliments of a headshot, and XP3 with the defuse. That was critical. 12-8. eLevate. Gotta be happy with themselves.
Yeah, like I said, it's just that's the one thing. Like as a terrorist, that's the one smoke you can throw that does you more harm than good. That connector smoke. You're basically just giving CTs an advantage instead of taking one yourself. So you have to be really careful.
A one-way smoke for them.
Yeah, you have to be very careful how you throw smoke connector as a terrorist. Unless you have a set smoke that you know is going to land perfect and definitely block off connector so you can come up cat. It's just not even worth your time throwing one.
Yeah, and pretty much the only sort of ones that you can do perfectly set every time like that are those lineup smokes from just outside spawn, which sort of limit your options. You can only do so much. You know, we're committing and broadcasting our intent to go mid to B in that situation. I don't know if you saw that massive nade stack.
Right. Didn't do a whole lot.
No, not really. I mean, if Roka pushed up just another inch or two, he would have been wrecked. A follow-up nade stack volley into Palace, and now LunatiK says, you know what, they wasted their grenades. Let's drop the smokes, textbook take, and it's working nicely. XP3 is going to go ahead and peek the corner, gets a quick pick before he gets blinded himself, and holds position with a Tech 9, falls into smoke, shut down, but hey, Roka doing work with Storm.
And that's the thing with the 5 smoke setup. Like the philosophy of the 3 smoke setup is I'm going to block off jungle and connector and not even contest that. I'm blocking those rotators off. But with the 5 smoke setup, because you're throwing them so like deep into connector and jungle, the player who's actually playing stairs, your aim is to directly challenge that player because you've isolated him alone rather than just cut him off from the site. Yet, you never saw LunatiK really commit to fighting XP3. He just kind of sat there on the stairs. The Jiggle peeked out and got a couple of frags for free. And it's if you're going to run that tactic, the intent is to attack that stairs player. And then they were too hesitant, I feel like, and it cost them. But now they're just going to try to rush upper B and see what happens.
Invert on entry with a rifle. Do more. Getting the first opening kill.
Oh my.
LunatiK's on site. I don't know about that spray. Drake completely screws up, somehow doesn't die because of it, resets his aim and says, you know what, let's try that again. Is able to get the kill and the bomb plant. Professor Chaos, first man on the site, charges in all alone. Nobody to trade with. That's not good. Teammate XP3 finally there, taking down Invert. Drake watching, waiting. Is going to get that kill. Roka alone. 1v2 exposes his back to draw soul, and that's going to be yet another victory for LunatiK eSports, trying to tie this thing up 9-13.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. Storm couldn't get a kill there. He died before he was able to get any frags. AKIS actually did a decent job getting a couple before going down to still even it out into a 3-on-3 retake opportunity. But it is LunatiK playing the crossfire as well at the end, able to put that round away. And so they're sticking in the game for now. I mean, it is 9-13. Yes, eLevate in a really good position. They still have plenty of money to buy out the rifles here, and they're going to get aggressive at mid themselves. But they actually do kind of fall back off of it there. Professor Cass decides to shift back to the A-bomb site here. So come off the aggression pretty quick, and now LunatiK looking to work themselves up mid. They smoke off Cat, and they're going to attack into connector. This is a much better idea, in my opinion, so let's see how it pans out.
CEVO throwing a variation of that window smoke. I've never seen it lined up the way he did. Blocked it off nicely. I'll have to go practice that into a server of my own. Drake turns his back on Connector after spamming and exposing his position. He's going to get shot in the back by Professor Chaos. Not sure what that's all about. That puts us in a T-side deficit. Bomb trying to work its way in towards a Professor Chaos again with that peek. Headshot, do more. And I don't know if he actually saw the bomb or not. Still stuck. Connector side.
Professor Chaos is playing this connector position really, really well here. Just knowing the timings of peeking. Because the thing is once that smoke dissipates when you smoke off Cat to play connector, at that point you're in no man's land. Like, you can easily get flanked from Cat, so you have to kind of keep making these 180 turns to worry about your Cat flank, but you also have to worry about if someone from stairs or something's actually going to peek you connector. So that's such a hard spot to hold as a terrorist. Like, you pretty much just have to press up the connector and try to make a play or fall out of it. It's so dangerous whenever you're in like one of those angles where you have to always be doing these 180 turns to watch your back. It's very, very tough. And now eLevate going for map point. LunatiK don't have much to work with, but trying to rush upper B, but they're eating a lot of fire.
Fire and frag grenades working together to shut these guys down. Drake actually dies through the fire. Everybody else is so hurt. CEVO all alone back of the apartment. It's going to go down super fast. Professor Chaos not even... Oh, no. He was able to get one kill, dropping the 30 bomb in round 24. 59 eLevate, 1 point away from winning the first map of the night of Mirage.
Yeah, I mean, Professor Chaos has had a good game. Like I said, he comes on the team as a very versatile player. I've always thought pretty highly of him ever since I saw him play with Nylum at the CEVO Season 6 LAN back in March. And ever since then, he played ESEA LAN as well before getting removed from Nylum, and all of his online play over the course of this year. I've always looked at him pretty highly. He's been doing well in this game, as you said. Double out setup in effect here. It's Roka actually using one, though, this time, rather than Professor Chaos, who's actually pushing mid.
Weird.
Getting a lot of information here. He knows they're either all upper B or all A at this point, so people can start rotating between the sites pretty quickly, and he can also flank pretty heavy.
The old lower A rush for Team LunatiK. The stolen off in the hands of Drake gets dropped very quickly. CEVO also dead. Draw Soul. 3 members, surviving members of LunatiK. They're stuck. They can't really make it far into the site, flanked from behind by Professor Chaos. Newmore is able to take him down, just outnumbered. Nothing more you can do there. 16-9 for eLevate. Break it down.
Yeah, I mean, GG there. I mean, the first half is actually quite close, 8-7 actually in favor of LunatiK. But eLevate still played a good T-side. They made a few mistakes, but they still locked down enough rounds. Then when you flip over to the second half, I mean, it seemed like it was always going to be eLevate. It's just going to be how quick could they put it away. Didn't really see much out of LunatiK on their T side there. They pretty much got caught out quite a lot. Professor Chaos is playing that A side, that connector so well. Akis was doing his work over there on B. Even on eco rounds, it seemed like they always eco rushed upper B, and Storm and Akis were always able to shut it down. So yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. Just clean victory there for eLevate for the most part. And now we move on to Kabul. But before we do that, we do have a quick break, it seems.